Hello and welcome to our first ever podcast. So we've been working hard on this podcast for last 2 3 months, and finally we are excited to launch the first episode. And so before starting the episode, I'd like you to meet the team that we have here. We have Anshuman Das, who's a Chelsea fan. We have Rohil, who's another Chelsea fan. We have two United fans, Kshitij Rastogi and Rishabh, and we have an unbiased football fan, Saurabh Khitan, but he also has a soft corner for Real Madrid. So that's the team. I am a Liverpool fan, the current Premier League champions, and we're currently losing
You
to
had to say
Fulham.
that. You had to say
So
that.
we're currently losing to Fulham. Okay, so we'll be coming up with a lot of content in the coming few months. We'll be focusing on Premier League and Champions League with more with focus on the major teams like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Juventus, and other teams, Dortmund, AC Milan. And we'll be coming up with a lot of fan versus fan debates, a lot of unpopular opinions, if you like. And so, yeah, before starting anything, like every YouTubers say, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We'll it'll help us give out more greater content. And in this video, we'll be talking about Manchester United and how they've been performing recently in the last 1 week. It was a very important week for United, and they are out of the Champions League and they drew against City. Also, they are facing a lot of problems with the Pogba situation. So I'll directly start it with the two United fans. So what do you feel? How was the weekend? What do you feel holds the future for the club right now? I'll go with Kshitij first. Kshitij, if you have your points.
Yeah, so this was a very important week for Manchester United because when the Champions League started, we were pegged to go out into the Europa League, and we started the Champions League very well, winning in Paris and giving a thumping to Leipzig. Although that was an anomaly because Leipzig played well most part of the games, and we and their defense collapsed in the last 10 minutes. But this was a very crucial week for United because we needed only a point to go into the Champions League, and we needed a win to stay in our position into the top four of the Premier League. The Champions League game was not as expected because they were able to almost wrap up the game in the first 20 minutes with two similar goals across the goal shots, and the second one was a volley that was again set up by Angelino, who is a Manchester City outcast. So it wasn't a very good week for us, but the weekend was not too bad for me. I think Pep Guardiola showing a sort of respect to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, setting up a defensive team coming to Old Trafford, which is not something he actually does. He likes to go on the offensive, likes to play a certain style of football. So showing a sort of respect to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and United was anyhow set up for the counter-attacking play. So it was a dull game at the end of the day. Like there weren't many chances created. City were trying to, grab a little bit of the game by the scruff of the neck, but then both Guardiola and Solskjaer made their changes, and the game pretty much balanced itself out. For the Pogba situation, I think it's high time that he leaves the club. Like he hasn't been a catastrophic failure, but he hasn't done what we expected him to do when he joined Manchester United. For most of the fans, Bruno Fernandes is doing what Pogba was actually brought into the club to do. So that in itself says a lot about the player who was once the biggest signing in the world of football, and he hasn't delivered. Because if you go through the career of Pogba for Manchester United, the only game that stands out where Pogba was actually on his best was the overturn that Man United did to Manchester City like a couple of years back when they were down 2-0 and Pogba single-handedly took the game to Manchester City, and United won 3-2 on a day when City was actually poised to win the title if they defeated Manchester United. So if Pogba was putting performances like that week in, week out, he would have been a world beater at Manchester United. The kind of players around him might not have helped, but that does not answer to the fact that the inconsistencies that Paul Pogba shows. So and if he like becomes a player, like he has these qualities, but if he becomes a player like Scott McTominay with the kind of work ethic that he has, or Fred, so if he brings that part of it in his, he will become a world class player. But now it's high time for him to leave the club, and we can actually use the funds that we get from Paul Pogba to spend a little on summer transfers.
So yeah, I totally agree with what Kshitij has said up till now. And believe me, yesterday it was a very dull game. The only good chance that either of the team had was one from Mahrez, which he totally blew off, and nothing else was there in the whole game. Uh, Defense was good, and it would seem to be good because the scoreline was 0-0. But for me, being a derby, I expected a lot. I expected to be a high voltage match, and neither of the defense actually got tested with any other thing. So it seemed like both of the team went with the mentality of okay, they were okay with having a draw. So this didn't seem good to me, being this being a derby and one of the biggest match of the season. Also, I was more disappointed with City. To be honest, I agree. Both the teams did have a Champions League game midweek. United were under more pressure to perform in that Champions League game, but City had already qualified. Um, uh, but City did not went with the attacking mentality to begin with, and although lately City has been performing very well in the defense department, and they had six. They already have six clean sheets, I believe. But to say they only managed just two shots on target, which I don't expect with City, with or without Aguero. It's not just Aguero who's driving the team, but the formation which I see City playing with is also not right. They have added both Rodri and Fernandinho, which I believe hinders the attacking sense, because they kind of play their ball again, play the ball amongst them only, and I believe only having Fernandinho or having Rodri would benefit, because it will give an extra player in the front. So to be honest, the game was one of the worst games of the season. To be honest, with the expectancy that I had, and it's frustrating, but both of them have gone with the point, and both of them are still close to top six, given that Chelsea also lost, and Spurs also drew today, and Liverpool as of now is also losing. So it is good for both of the teams. Talking about the Pogba situation, I was never in favor of Pogba coming to United, and especially at that hefty price. And given what his agent Mino Raiola has said earlier this week, still I believe he should go. But it seems that Pogba is positive that he wants to continue at Man United, given on basis of what he has said in his Instagram post, that people should not speak out and just blabber things on their own. They should come and see what the situation is with the club and with the player. So let's see what happens. It will be a fun thing to watch if he goes, and to which club does he go to.
So I was also going through the post that he had sent out on Instagram, and it clearly feels that he might not be the one who's pushing for the move. It might be the club who is pushing for the move, or maybe the agent is making up all the noise. So Rishabh, over to you. Do you feel that Pogba, seeing his performance against City, I think he was the best player on the field for United, with Bruno Fernandes also. So do you feel that if he continues to play that way, there might be a change in the decision what United is seeing, and they could actually wrap him up for another 2-3 seasons?
Well, I kind of agree with sort of what he just said. Like, I was never in favor when he was actually got by United for 100 million. It didn't really make sense to me, and the kind of football United play, they didn't ever need a player like Pogba. I never felt that. It was an overpriced player, and you can already see that he has other things going on his mind, and he never he not never, but like he contributes to a team when he wants to, and that is not an attitude a footballer should have. You are being paid so much money so much money to play for a club that is on a global level. You should be performing week in week out, or other than if you're having an injury. So I really don't. I feel like he should leave ASAP. There is no reason for him to stay here. Even if his agent has come out and said something about Pogba, and that he wants to leave, and his career at United is over. We already know that his contract is expiring in 2022, and given what we've seen in this particular season, I don't think Ole has started Pogba in a lot of games, which definitely means that he doesn't see Pogba in his future starting 11, which obviously says that okay, he's also thinking about the future, and he's also wanting to sell him. So that might be too much of asking, but if he's doing that, then sell him in January if the clubs come. If not, then I would strongly recommend, if United is listening, sell him in the summer transfer window, because if this keeps on going, the Ole will be in trouble. At one point of time, the club will lose the patience, and he will be in trouble. So he needs to find the players that he needs, and he needs to build the team around him. And also, I think United is done with Raiola. They should not be doing any business with him in the future. Like the timing of that post or the timing of that announcement is bizarre. To come out and say that he's not ready to play for United, he doesn't want to play for United, or he doesn't see himself at United, just before a crunch game at Leipzig and then a Manchester derby, does not make sense. I think they should literally fire him. Sorry, what?
Just so indirectly, you're saying that you don't want Haaland to come to United, right?
Yeah, I was just about to mention that.
I don't care about what players he represents, but I don't think we should be doing we should be taking any players from him.
Okay, so just a word out for Raiola, that if you're watching this video, and we'll be coming up with a lot of suggestions for you. So make sure you subscribe and like to this video and this channel. Right. So with this, I'll go to Anshuman. I'm sure that he's waiting to pounce on United and how they've been
Not this week.
thrown out of the Champions League. No, so how they've been thrown out of the Champions. So Anshuman, what do you feel? And how do you feel? Firstly, we'll leave the Chelsea result aside for now.
Yeah, I have left it aside. For me, it's not concerning for me. But if we talk about United, then see, first of all, I would like to say that the derby that I saw yesterday, I felt like both teams, I'm not saying just United, I'm saying both teams were cowards. I'm just putting that word out there. They played like cowards. This is a derby, and I was shocked to see City playing so lethargic. Like, if I would say that these two teams had the exact same tactic, they cancelled each other out in every department. Like, till it was 70 or 75 minutes, they had equal shots with equal shots on target. They had the same ball possession. They had the same passing accuracy. I mean, they had such a similar tactic to just stay cautious that they never even tried to get an opening anywhere. I never saw a single passionate footballer out there on the ground yesterday. So I would say that I agree with Saurav wholeheartedly. It was one of the worst matches I have ever seen. So
was Chelsea cowards when they came to United and did the same thing?
Yeah, so, but that situation was completely different from this situation. This is a derby. And both of the teams are
biggest games ever.
That I understand.
So, agree, Chelsea were also cowards coming to United and doing the same thing.
Yeah, so okay, then I'll say
I think Kshitij,
I'll say that Chelsea also played cowardly.
Yeah,
Is that right?
that I
And
can.
if you agree that United played cowardly, then I am wholeheartedly agree that Chelsea played cowardly.
Yeah, I understand that, but I just want to bring that into context as well, just
All
before
right,
you
that
put that to them. Yeah.
no, I'm just saying that you played cowardly, and that's not an issue. And and you have seen the match. You saw
Yeah, I
it
do.
was such a dull and effortless match that I felt like this is not something that City or United should have gone with. That was not the perfect tactic for me. Which and
But do you,
now
Anshuman, do you feel that the dullness of the match was because the major two players of both the teams, De Bruyne and Bruno, were not able to get to the ball or were not so much involved in the match or the build-up? Or was it because that the defensive side of both the teams were able to press these two players and not let them play? So what do you
no,
feel
see
that
see
could that be a reason also?
if I like come out and say the positives from the match, then of course like both the teams had such a firm tactical defense setup that they like even the fullbacks they were not probably with what Pep or Ole must have told them that they were not tracking front as much as they were supposed to do. So they were always being shifted back. Whenever there was a counter attack, you would always see Van Bissaka behind even the backline of the defense. So that was the setup. So according to what you were saying, the defense was on par with what. But my concern was that it should not have been a defensive approach. We are not playing with Jose Mourinho. It should have been a very passionate because both of the teams are outside of top six right now. So because they need to build some momentum and a stadium and a derby would have refined their season coming ahead. So from that perspective, I think that both of the managers like dropped the ball.
Well, we all know that United has been very inconsistent throughout the season. I mean, it's and their home form is always it's not something to talk about. I mean, it's not something to be even proud of right now at the moment. Even I mean, when you see the numbers, it's contrasting numbers when you see the away form and the home form. So I mean, you have to look at that as well. And I think right now the current situation, I think most of the big clubs when you see at the matches they have been playing, you just see that everyone has been going for a defensive approach. Apart from the Spurs and United match, which was at the very beginning of the season, or the Liverpool Chelsea match in which Chelsea were one man down after half time. So I mean, those two matches were the only where we saw a result and where a thumping performance or a thumping victory was seen by one of the teams. Other than that, all the teams, all the big matches have been pretty dull throughout the season right now. So it's something which we I think need to look at. I guess it's something of a tactic which every manager is focusing on rather than losing the points and going for attacking throughout the season. They're just holding the defense and holding their lines and just going for that 1 point so that they don't lose out on that match as right now. Because the table is so close, I mean, we know that there's only a 7, 8 point difference between the top 10 teams. So it's a very close title fight right now for now.
I think this is the season for the underdogs.
Yeah, I guess.
All
I mean,
the smaller teams are performing and outshining every other top 16
exactly.
right now.
Exactly. Like I mean, one victory from Southampton, today's victory, 3-0 victory, which has put them in the top three right now. So you can see like how big a victory and a draw can actually create a difference for all the teams right now. So you need to look at all those things also. And coming to City's attack, it's something which is one of the poor starts in terms of attack. I mean, in throwing some stats over here, when we look at the past 2 seasons, their chances they've created have been chances created per game have been like 13 to 15 in the past 2 seasons. This season it has dropped down to 11, and the goal scores has definitely dropped down as well. I mean, they were scoring 2 to 3 goals every match in the past 2 seasons as well, and this season it's been down to 1.5. So you can see the stark contrast. And the other thing is like De Bruyne is not clicking right now for them. he has the most number of chances created and still has no goal from open play. He has only 2 goals, which are both have come from a penalty. So you have to look at that as well. So City is definitely struggling, and with I think Pep, I feel he has given up on this season. He doesn't feel he has the team to challenge for the title. I can just see it in his way the games are being played out by City right now. Even though we know that couple of victories for them and a couple of losses for Liverpool and Spurs can definitely put them at the top right now. But I still don't think them that they can sustain the title challenge throughout the season. And I think Pep is focusing on the next season right now itself. And with the transfer rumors circling around Messi and Haaland right now, I think that is something which he's focusing on and trying to secure the targets which he has for the next summer. He's not going to focus on this season as more. And if we talk about United, about the Champions League, it's definitely a very poor thing, a poor performance from them, because they only needed 4 points from their last 4 matches. I mean, they won the first 2 and then they need only 4 to qualify. It's something which is really bizarre of how they have performed throughout the Champions League this season. Even though they were not they were not the favorites anywhere to qualify maybe or into the round of 16, but they were touted to go towards being the club they are. They definitely look to be in the Champions League round of 16 at least.
Just to put it out there, Kshitij had United and Bayern Munich as the favorites for the top 4 in the Champions League, right? So I'll just put out 2 questions for the United fans. First is that a win in the Champions League match and a loss to City, would you have preferred that, or you are happy with the result that you got this week?
I think I would have preferred the Champions League game. Yeah, I would have preferred them to win that game at least, because I mean one loss here in the Premier League doesn't really affect. It's fine, I guess. Like I would have taken the Champions League game as the one to win.
Yes,
I would have
anything
taken
would
the
go.
Champions League game as well. Yeah.
I mean, like there's go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, it's okay. Yeah, but now in Europa League, it gives a chance for United to use a couple of squad players that do not have gotten a lot of minutes under their belt. Like Dan James could actually get some game time. This is the best that we can actually make of a bad situation.
And the next question.
This is the only situation you have.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is: will you sell, if given a chance, would you sell Pogba in January without replacing anyone?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Within a heartbeat.
for sure.
We have a lot of midfielders.
I mean, if there
right.
even if there is a cut price deal, even if Southampton comes for 30 million, sell. I don't really care at this point of time. I don't really care.
United has this price tag for 100 million euros, and at the moment, I think only Juventus is interested, but Juventus do not have the funds for it, and PSG is another team that seems to be interested in him. So
right now, I read in the transfer rumors that they're asking only 50 million. They're not asking for 100. I don't know, but that's the cut price they're asking.
50 million is way too less to get for a player of his caliber. Like United,
I would like to see Pogba in a Southampton shirt.
It is not about caliber. We all know that he has caliber. It's about the inconsistencies that he has. I don't know what goes in his brain, and why does he think about, okay, I will perform in this game and I will not perform in this game. Like I don't really understand that. Like if you look at Bruno, like he goes all in when he performs. When he goes.
So there's only one thing which I would say is that Pogba has been a coward throughout this thing, because since Bruno's arrival, he and the way Bruno has been performing, he realized that he's not the star anymore of the team, and the team is not going to revolve around him. He just blatantly said that he's not happy with the situation and just wants to leave. He is not fighting for his position in the team or trying to prove that what kind of a player he is. I mean, he has performed in the Italian league and other leagues as well, but right now the way he is acting, his behavior is something which United needs to look into, and because it definitely affects the morale of the team as well. I mean, giving out these kind of statements right before a couple of big matches definitely is going to affect players like Rashford, Greenwood, all these small young players who look up to these players like Pogba. So it's going to affect them as well. So,
I would
yeah,
really like to, if he goes back to Juventus, I'd really like to see him perform at that level. Just so you know, because at that point of time, the Italian league was still like only dominated by a couple of teams. So right now there are about 6 teams who are going for their title. So
Right. So with that, we wish United all the best for the Europa League. Let's hope that they come out with the trophy because they don't have Sevilla this time to face.
And I hope that
And-
Pogba does not leave.
but we do have Villarreal. We do have Villarreal, who is Unai Emery's team.
Right.
I'm all-
Oh, so
yeah.
that's going to be a big challenge for you. And so we hope that Ole stays and Pogba stays till the end of the season, and we have more such debates on the couch.
Why Pogba should go?
Right. So with this, now I'll come to the Chelsea match, and I think I'll go straight to Anshuman. Anshuman, what happened? We've been seeing Everton's form. In the last 6 matches, they've lost 4, they've drawn 1, and they've only gone on to win against Fulham.
plus this is their
So-
second clean sheet. This is their only second clean sheet in the match, in the tournament,
Right,
in
so-
the season so far.
What went wrong? What are your opinions on that?
2 things went wrong. One was, I don't know what the hell was Mendy thinking. I mean, what was that? That was a complete disaster of what Mendy has shown just prior, 2 minutes prior to what he did. And I was so confident that, okay, so we have a goalkeeper who does not like to rush towards the player, and he immediately did that. So that went wrong. And the second thing that I have been saying from the past like 2 to 3 weeks is that if we do not put the players that we have signed for the particular positions that they have been signed for, then we will not get the attacking prowess that we deserve. Now, people say that the signings that we did, we have established a very strong force in the forward areas. But if we do, I will say blatantly, I understand how Giroud is playing. He has been the man for us, and he comes and he changes the game because of his physical dominance still at the age of 35. And we still know that Tammy Abraham has the potential to grow, and he is still growing. And he also, whenever he gets the chances, he does not put any foot wrong. But having said that, I still completely disagree putting Werner in the wing position. I'd say we'll get the goals. We will edge out the games like the game that we played against Everton, where even their strike force was not as dominant as they were being before 5-3 games before, and it was just that penalty mistake that gave them the goal. Otherwise, the game would have been a 0-0 draw, and even I would have been disappointed with that because of the fact that the striker is not playing in the striker position. Pulisic, I don't know what happened. He was like absolutely fit before the match, and suddenly he was not even in the bench. I don't know what situation is that with him. Now, if we talk about Havertz, then he is not performing, and we also heard from him stating that because of the COVID situation, hit him pretty bad, and he understands that he's not getting that physical fitness that is required to play a Premier League game. And we can see that when he is having those first touches, he's not expecting players to push, because probably that is the kind of game that he used to play in Germany. But this is a completely different game, and I think both German players need to understand very quickly that this is not a game where you can just pass on and breeze through. This is a Premier League fixture. Even if you're playing a relegated team, you have to be on your toes, and you have to be absolutely ready for any sort of counter attacks. And Lampard is building a team which has a particular tactic of pressing and then going directly to a counter attack, and which kind of like replicates the tactic that Klopp does with Liverpool. But the difference is that in Liverpool, the players are doing wonders on the particular roles that they are absolutely suited for. And I still believe that Lampard is still not building that perfect team for Chelsea that can go through and win. And I would say that it was a pretty lackluster performance from the front side. I still have no queries about or no have concerns about the defensive side of us. We gave a goal that was a penalty mistake, but otherwise we were again as firm as we have been showing before. Mendy came back and he performed better than he had realized that it was a lapse of moment and he did that. But then he came back and he started to perform as he was doing it before the penalty incident. So from that side, I had no issues with Chelsea. But the front, I would still say they're not taking the chances. Their first touch is still not good. The chances and the long balls, they are not going to the perfect player. And I would say from that perspective, it was a very disastrous performance from us. So I'm absolutely disappointed and disheartened. And that game we should have at least scored a goal to get a draw. And this also states that we are not ready for the title. Our team is not ready for the title, and as Lampard also stated.
So that was quite a solo performance from Anshuman. So Rohil, what are your opinion on that?
I mean, he has pretty much put everything into point what he thought about the match and what Chelsea lacked. But I just want to focus on what actually Everton did right in the match. Also, I mean, it's not that Chelsea was. It was only Chelsea's match to lose. It was the performance from Everton also which drove them to the victory. I know. I mean, it's a penalty which got them the match, but still they had Ancelotti had the tactic which he came out with. He wanted to be right with the defense, and I mean, looking at he studied the previous games of Chelsea where he saw that most of the games were being built from wings, and the crosses were being delivered and the headers were being won. I mean, Giroud's goals are from headers. Kurt Zouma scores goals from the headers and corners. So he saw that in the previous matches. He studied those things and he came up with a game plan. And the wing backs actually did what exactly they were supposed to do throughout the match. They did not let the crosses come in, and whenever the crosses came in, it was the fullbacks were ready for that, and they did not let them win the headers as well. So that is something which is commendable. I mean, they had only 28 or 30% of the possession throughout the match, if I'm not wrong. And with that low amount of possession and still being able to defend, that is something which is really commendable. I think Ancelotti needs to be applauded for that. So, I mean, even with Rodriguez not starting the match, it is something which you need to look for.
Like, just to add to your point, I think that Alex Iwobi had like one of the best games of his career.
Right, he was
yesterday.
good on the right side of the field.
I mean,
His individual battles with Ben Chilwell was like up to the point and up to the marks. They actually were holding.
And it is one of the best.
Yeah, say.
I think just to add to both of your points, there was one thing that you guys didn't mention was the fans that came into the stadium.
I guess.
I think that definitely helped.
That definitely helped. I think we are getting back to a normal situation where a home crowd can get behind you and give you some upsets that you don't expect.
I mean,
So let's hope that this continues.
The other thing is that Sigurdsson actually did step up to the game. I mean, it is one of his best performances in the recent matches I've seen him play. It is, I mean, he knew that Rodriguez is not going to be in the match, and it was something he had in mind, and he wanted to prove to Ancelotti that he can step up to the occasion, and he did exactly right so in that situation. So, yeah, kudos to him also, I guess.
Yeah.
And both of you feel that feel that you'll be able to bounce back against Wolves?
Oh, definitely. I mean, looking at the table right now, I mean, I'm happy to say that I mean neither Spurs or Liverpool are able to win today's matches. So it's a good thing for us. We're not losing too much on the points or creating too much big of a difference in the points table right now. So I guess we're still in the hunt for the title. I mean, we were going to be on the hunt even if we lost the matches. It's good to see that it's not a big hit to us as well right now. So, I mean, one-off matches are definitely going to be there, and Mendy is not going to give you clean sheets every week in and week out. So.
Yeah, I mean, as long as Anshuman does not keeps him in this FPL team, you guys are not getting a clean sheet now. Because just to put that out, for us 6 fans that are on the channel, since Anshuman has put Mendy in his FPL team, you guys have not got a clean sheet. So hashtag blame Anshuman.
But it's the first loss, so that's a different thing. Clean sheet is not something which I'm concerned with right now. I mean, it's the victories which I want. So as long as we keep getting the victories, I don't care if he concedes 2 or 3 goals. I just want them to win. Ultimately, that's what matters right now.
Right. So no more the clean sheet FC, which Anshuman claimed before that we are the new clean sheet. So they've lost, but they must be happy that Spurs and Liverpool have drawn their games.
Absolutely.
And there's not a major difference in the league standing. So with that, we'll wrap up the first part. Thanks for tuning in and watching the video. Again, I'll say the same thing. Please like, share, and subscribe the video, and make sure that you log into the next video as well. Thank you.